which, oh God, every knee will bow. Lord, what a mighty name. Lord, we worship you. I want you to open your mouth this morning and say, Lord, break every generational pattern of evil in my life. Everything that I've inherited from my family that is evil, that is causing my life to go in circles, that is causing my marital situation to be the way it is. Let the fire of God of Elijah begin to break those generational patterns right now. In the name of Jesus, open your mouth and begin to break Eskia. Maia de Bosheteria and the Kapa. Angels of the living God. The Bible says you are ministering angels. Yeshua Saka. Yemane Kepo Sotoria. Yeneskia Satara. Holy Ghost fire. Fire. Begin to break. Begin to destroy every evil generational pattern, oh God. Holding our life captives, Lord. Yes, Eteria. Every yoke, every shackle of family inheritances, oh God, that is holding your people captive, that is not allowing us to move forward. Yes, send it. Contend, mighty and the sun. Rupo Sheta. Ekibres Kotoria. This money by the power. That is in the name of Jesus Christ. Rest, Korea. Break in the name of Jesus. And let the people not be set free to you, Lord. Let us start open area. Holy Ghost, have your way. Yes, in the name of Jesus. Yes, Lord. So, Father, we bless your name this morning. Lord, we worship you because you are the King of kings and the Lord of lords. Lord, we worship you because you are the ancient of days, oh God. Lord, we cannot even comprehend your power. For how wonderful you have been and you are in our lives, Lord. Lord, thank you for people that are going through one thing or the other. Thank you because of grace over our lives this year. The enemy meant for evil, Lord, you meant for good. Thank you for transforming our situation around, Lord. We'll lift you up, oh God. Thank you for this month. Thank you for your determination to set us free, oh God, from the bondage and captivity under which we've been laboring, oh God, from the beginning of our time as a result of our family. Thank you for our pastor that you've been using for us, Lord. Yes, Lord, this morning, oh God, as we come before the throne of grace, humbling ourselves, Lord, I ask, oh God, for the transforming power to come upon every single soul in this auditorium and those connecting unto us, oh God, even online in the name of Jesus. We cannot do it, oh God, without you. So, Lord, we ask that you give every one of us here, oh God, a open heart, oh God. Attentive ears, Father. And as your people bring their experiences into service this morning, as they speak over into the life of other people to help them, I pray, Lord, that the words of their mouth will be seasoned with salt, sweeter to the hearers, and transformation will take place. Spirit of the living God, have your way. Thank you, Lord. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
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 Let's give it up to God this morning. Good morning. You can have your seats.
What? Let's go.
How is everybody doing this morning? Morning. Are doing okay?
Morning.
All right. Now, when we're starting them at chapter 6, sorry, technical difficulties. How is everybody this morning? Good morning. All right, I'm looking at nice faces, everybody looking sharp. The ones that I'm kind of dragging into this morning, well, thank you for being brave again. We've had a series of a lot of brave people here this month. Today is one of the third week that we've started this process so far. So I want to welcome each one of us again to this service this morning, it's my belief that what we've been doing so far, up to now, God is using to transform lives. People that are not in the auditorium, people that are watching us online, have been able to share their testimony of how our brave souls from church, their testimony have been impacting their lives. So we give glory to God for all of that. So if you're going to indulge me again this morning, before we start, I just want to do one or two things because of what we started. Throughout this series, we've talked briefly on the importance and role of family and how it impacts our lives in the area of relationship, in the area of who we are, and also because we are looking forward to having people grow to maturity spiritually, physically, and in every other area of their lives. So that's kind of why we have been doing this also. And we started talking about the nature of family and how it is shaped. It has shaped our relationship and who we are today. Not just that, last week we talked about relationship in regards to family, how our upbringing how our upbringing and experiences, life experiences, affects us in our daily life and in who we have become as a human being, or as a person, or as a worker, as a husband, as a parent. Today, what we want to talk about, we'll be focusing on how our family of origin, what I mean by the family you are born into, impacts our attitude towards work life and finances. Everybody say work life and finances.
Work life and finances.
How many people like working here? How many people would like to retire like yesterday? Even the one that have not even started, they want to retire like yesterday. And that's what we're talking about then. So we can see the relationship between our family of origin, who we are, how has that impacted who we are today, and how does it impact our work ethic, our attitude towards work, our attitude towards money, and how that can make us or break us, either as a believer and people that are growing in the call of God. I understand that this topic so far is not something that is typical subject in the churches, but studies have shown that our attitude towards different aspects of our lives are shaped partly by our family that we came from. How many of us agree with that?
Amen.
Yeah. If you are born into a royal family right now, maybe Saudi prince or princess, how many of you are going to go to work tomorrow morning? You are not going to go to work because you are born into money. Something may be going on with other area of your life as a result of that, but that tells you something about the need to work. And we go pray and pray and pray and pray till kingdom come. If certain attitude in our lives that we have kind of inherited from our family of origin is not taken care of, we're just going to be praying till we are blue in the face, and nothing is going to happen. I pray the Lord will help us in Jesus' name. So basically, what I would say, I'm saying that our attitude towards different aspects of life is shaped in part by our family of origin. What am I saying? I'm saying that the way we view marriage and relationship is determined by the impact of our family of origin. I'm saying that the way we view work, money and spending and giving and interaction also is impacted by our family of origin. I'm saying that the way we view life in general, regardless of whether you're making friends or what you want to do with your life, is impacted by the family we came from. I'm not saying everything is, but it's partly due to that because that's what we are born into. If you were here last week, you hear me talk about schema mode, and I explained that as the way in which we interpret life, and then we relate to life, and then we view life. Why? Because caregivers in our life have impacted on us one way or the other. If you have a mom that get mad, it's tendency you're going to get mad as you grow old because that is just simply the way that they carry you. That is just simply the way that they react, and you learn that, you internalize that, so that as you are growing older, guess what? You do what your parent does. Whether it makes sense or whether it doesn't make sense, because you've learned it to be and to do it like that, that's exactly what you're going to do. And I pray that the Lord will help us. Those are shackles. Those are chains under which we have kept ourselves. My grandparent does this. I've had people come sit across from me and they are fighting over talking, how to make Thanksgiving turkey. That's what they have been. The husband learning this way, that this is how my grandparents used to do it. The wife's grandparents used to do it this way. Who cares whether you put it in the oven or fried it? As long as you eat turkey for Christmas, I mean for Thanksgiving. And if you don't even eat turkey for Thanksgiving, who really cares? It shouldn't destroy anything. But because of the belief system, their scheme and mode, let them know the important part of life is only if you fry something, or if you put certain seasoning, or if you put certain things inside. And that destroyed that family as a result of their redundant belief. We call this redundant belief because it doesn't make any sense what that is. So this morning, without wasting more time, we're going to be talking about the impact of family and work. Why are we talking about that? Because it's the biggest part of our lives. And if God is saying that I want you to be successful, right? I want you to be in health. I want you to prosper, even as you're also prospering. If our attitude towards this aspect of life is not in place, it's going to be very difficult. So what do I want to do? I want to quickly take us to the Bible, Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 to 31. I don't know if I should read it because of our time, but it gives us an account of how God made man and give them dominion over everything. And the verse 26 just basically say, then God said, let us make man in our image, according to our likeness. Let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, over all the earth, and over every creeping thing. So God created man in his own image. And the image of God, he created him, male and female, he created them. Then God blessed them. And God said to them, be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth and subdue it. Listen, subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, over every living thing that moves on the earth. And God said, see, I have given every herb that yields seed, which is on the face of all the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed. To you it shall be for food. And also to every beast of the earth, to every bird of the air, and to everything that creeps on the earth, in which there is life. I have given every grain out for food. And so it was. So the Bible says. Then God saw everything that he had made, which means he worked hard already. And indeed it was very good. Success. So the evening and the morning were the sixth day. What am I trying to say? That God, the creator of the universe, worked. That's the foundation of work in his own family. He didn't just do that. When we look at Genesis 2:15, it says, and the Lord God, remember he created the man and the woman. He took Adam, the man, and put him in the Garden of Eden to do what? To tend and to keep it. He didn't just put it there. He didn't put him there to have fun, to sip the pinnacle or whatever they call it. He didn't put him there for that. He said to tend and to keep it. And if you look at the scriptures without wasting time, what did Adam do? He get to name all the animals. He get to name all the herbs. He get to do all of that. Why did he have to do that? For order to be in place. So we don't see this flower and call it moonshine, while we see something else and call it another name. He classified everything, which makes it important. And then he simplified our life for us as well. Not just that, he was able to separate. This one is a man, this one is a womb man. What's a womb man? A woman, which is a man with a womb. So male and female, man and woman, male and female, woman. So what am I saying? I look at that. I established the fact that we need to work, right? The other thing is, when you look at Matthew, I'm not going to read that, 25:14 to 30. It talks about the parable of the three talents. When Jesus was talking about, he was going, this man was going on a far away land, and he took, you can put it up there. I don't want to read it. But he took the servant and give them the talent. He said, because I'm going to go away. Here, you take 3, you take 2, and you take 1. That established a lot of stuff also that is not good to be hidden. Because the guy would have said, okay, I'm not going to be in town, chill out. But he didn't do that, which means it's very important to know. Why is that important to work? So, I've set that basic foundation for you to know and for you to understand that success is a product of hard work. You want to be who you want to be. If you don't work hard, it's going to really be hard. And if your attitude that you have learned from your family of origin is call mommy abroad and get dollar from them, you are not going to go anywhere. Regardless of how young you are or how old you are, you're going to continue to be dependent on people. Not just that, from all the places, it's established one simple truth that scriptures commands us to work. Jesus said, occupy till I come. That's another way of Jesus telling us, I need you to work. Not just that, we are gifted differently. If you look at that, this is where it is tricky. 3 talents. Why will he give 3 to one person? We might look at it as partiality, right? And he gave somebody 2, and he gave somebody 1. Because he knows what your stamina is, what you are gifted in. We're not equal. Your family you came from are not equal. Your life experiences are not equal. We're all different. And if we don't recognize that we are different based by design, on design, or where we came from, we're going to continue to struggle. We're getting ready to go into the new year. We don't want us to continue to struggle as a church. We don't want us to continue to struggle as a family. Wherever we find ourselves, we want to enjoy the presence and the blessings and the promises that God has promised us this year. Some is coming to pass, some it's not. Why? And that is the reason we're doing what we're doing this month, to check our attitude, to change something about us. My sister said something last week, Kenny, when she was talking. She said people notice the difference in me. Why? She changed something about her. We could pray till kingdom come. Unless certain things are changed, it's not going to work. And accountability is a must. We're going to be accountable for where we are. So if you don't want to work, it's fine, really. You don't have to. But then your bank account is also going to record 0. It's just it for that. If you enjoy abundance, then you're going to be diligent in working so hard. And if you don't want to enjoy abundance, it's okay to be mediocre, just the way you are, and beg people for money. You can live like Lazarus as well. It's 2 ways. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Lazarus was lazy. I don't know Lazarus' story. But some people use that to not want to do anything. So what are we focusing on this morning? Before I bring up my good people here this morning, the impact of family, of money, and work life. Having said all of that, right? We're going to get the party started. I believe that my grace are ready. So, help me welcome Sister Tracy Marie. Thank you, sister. My wonderful sister. I've been dragging her every week, Sister Kenny Kawa. My sister Sarah Stowe. And finally, not the least, Sister Leah Misigari. It's not easy to be put on the spot, you know. So I want to say thank you to all of you for coming here this morning. I thank God for your lives and for willingness to want to help other people to be better in their journey. I know it's not easy to just come and say, hey, this is going on in my life. You're not afraid. People are going to say this about me or about, oh, wow, but you're here. And that's what's important. Sweet, short, and sweet, or whichever way they say it, we're going to go across the room, and then we're going to go from there. And we might throw the question to the congregation also. You're going to help us. So nobody's kind of escaping here today, this morning. But first of all, I want to be very candid with you. That, like Pastor says, we want you to share whatever you're comfortable with. Okay? And he knows when he says that, I say, what's taking? I said, but I want you to go deep. I want you to be able to help somebody with your testimony. Because if you have not been through it, you don't have an experience, you're not going to be sitting here. But because you've been through it, it means you have experience. And God does not use people without experience. Because they're not, He will wait for you till you have that experience so He can use you, so you can share it with other people. I pray God will help us in Jesus' name. Okay. So, with everything that I've said about work, when we talk about work, they have mixed reactions, right? There are many people in our culture, especially in the church today, who see work as a curse and not a blessing. You see, when I said how many people think they retire like yesterday, how many hands went up? A lot of hands went up because people want to retire. You know, even the younger ones and just want to retire. They've not even worked for a long time and they've done already. So, which means we don't all see work as a blessing. We see it as a chore. We see it as a work. We see it as a difficult situation. So my first question to all of us, especially to our people in the audience, is why do you think work and money are an important part of life? You should say you go first.
Work and money. Our relationship with money is just as important as our relationship with our family. It's vital to the lifestyle that we develop and that we want. Work, for me, is purpose. We were all born with purpose, special gifts and talents that should garner our income. That is what I believe creates our income, what our gifts and talents are. I personally do not believe in retiring. I think we should work throughout the journey until we can't anymore, because it keeps us vital. Work and money. We don't idolize money, but it is a relevant part of our existence. We need money to meet our obligations. In order to meet our obligations, we go out and earn an income.
Thank you. Yeah, that's what you said, right? When she was talking, I'm going, oh no, I want to retire. That's very sweet. Thank you, sister. My sister, in a nutshell, what's your idea? Why is work and money an important part of life and relationship?
Work shows who you are to yourself. I believe if you never work, you never know your capacity. If you do not teach a child how to do dishes, the child will not know the benefit of a clean house. If you do not teach yourself how to get up in the morning and have to be somewhere on time, you won't know how to conquer business. You won't know how to interact in the world. Work is pivotal to our foundation as human beings and to our success and to what we want to become. So I believe all of us must work. When it comes to money, I always think about Solomon's scripture. Money answereth all things. When you want to show somebody love, you buy them flowers or something they like. When you want to take care of yourself, it's money you take to go buy that supply or that tool. Without money, this world is built on it, right? Currency, not just money, just currency, whether it be blood like Jesus paid for us on the cross, whether it be a promissory note like the US dollar. Whatever that currency is, you can answer in any level. Money or currency is powerful to answer anything in your life.
Thank you. Sister Sarah.
What do I say that hasn't already been said? I totally agree with purpose, and I think it can be necessary to our identity in a way as well. I don't think that we get a sense of self-worth unless we're giving something back, whether it's working for our children or the kind of job that you have. Are you satisfied in it, or is it just to earn money to take care of your family? Either is okay, but I think as a person, we need to develop, as Kenny was saying. You mentioned relationships. I think money can create a lot of fighting. It's one of the number one reasons that people in marriages fight. And I think if you grow up with different ways of looking at money, making money, spending money, it can create a lot of disorder in the home. And so when you're looking at a potential spouse, really look at how they spend money and work together to come to a mutual way of spending.
That's a very Very good point. Everybody has been talking about good points. And it's really interesting that she went that route with relationship and then mentioned marriage. I've had people say, I love this person, I want to marry this, but this is a 47 or whatever year old lady. But we not go into relationship with that person just because they have 100,000 debts for student loan. She has fat bank account. So she's like, no, I don't think I want to marry this person. So we talked about it, we tried to process through, but what it fell through because she said, I'll try to give him the list of all the job he could do because he's looking for a job now. And he thought all the work is beneath him. But yet he has all this debt. I don't think I want to go into this. So that in a way, our upbringing is different from this other person's upbringing. So yes, it can impact somebody's life. At that point, if we don't have a good understanding of that. Thank you for mentioning that.
I really don't know what I can say.
That's good. We'll move on to the next one if there's nothing on that. So if my next question will be, what was your earlier recollection of your family's attitude towards work and money when you were growing up? In a nutshell, very short.
Well, in a nutshell, they prided themselves when it came to work, like getting a job done and getting paid for it. But I think maybe kind of tying in earlier with like relationship with money, it was a situation where it's like, oh, we have to have this thing, or there was a bit of a negative connotation. We understood from a very young age, I know everyone does, that like you need money to get things. Like as a kid, I know you're like, oh, can I have this? And like you don't completely understand, but you know there's something being traded for that one thing that you have. But it was sometimes of a negative connotation because it's like, oh, we don't have money for that, or you build yourself to like think it negatively, like something that you have to attain that's always slipping your fingers. So it was.
Does it mean they weren't working?
Yeah, no, it wasn't the work, and I it took me a while to understand it, obviously, as a person who works themselves, like, and definitely a lot of reading and like soul searching, but it is a situation where like the fact that you work hard doesn't mean and you don't have that much money doesn't mean that you don't work hard, if that makes sense. Because there's people like working in factories, breaking their back. My mom works with mentally challenged people. Like it's hard work, but you know that doesn't always equal how much you feel like it should be worth. You're actually getting paid for it. So there's always that. It is a mindset type of situation where you have to think of like, you know, I have to find a way of making, like you were saying, a purpose. And they said, if you find your purpose, then the money will come. You'll never have to worry about that.
That's a very good point that you brought up there. And I don't know anybody here and those that are watching us on online also. When they talk about money or work and purpose, basically there's a disconnect that I think we have as a parent in there. We want you to have a good life. So I want you to be a doctor. I want you to be a lawyer. I want you to be an engineer because I want you to have a good life. One thing that we're not factoring into that aspect is the personality and the trait as a family. This child that I want to be a doctor, does this child have personality of a doctor? But because so and so is a doctor, I want this person to be a doctor. You see what I'm saying? So then what happened? They might do it halfway. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a nurse. No. I want to be this. I know somebody told me a while back when we just got here and said, you just need to be a nurse. You're going to make a lot of money. I knew what God said when I was coming abroad, it's not a nurse. But then because this person has influence, and that goes for some of us that whatever it is that somebody of influence tells us to do is what we do. Then the same thing for the parent. Is one parent want me to be this, so I want to satisfy that. And I can see why people want to satisfy the parent, only because they don't want to get in trouble. So I'm speaking to the parent that are here and some youths that are here and they know that God's plan and purpose for them is there and their passion, their temperament goes for this. It's okay to pray through. And for parents, it's okay to pray your children through to God's will for them in career. I was glad that I didn't go and study nursing. I'm not saying nothing is bad, please don't get me wrong. I came to United States as a chemist. By the time I applied for the school, my dad was a nursing professional, practitioner, growing up. So I was like, it's a good idea. Yeah, let me do nothing. I love my father, so I can, it's the family career. It didn't work out. Because anytime I think about it, I don't want to see anybody poop. I don't want to see any blood. I don't want to see all of that. So, but I will see if somebody throw up, I'm going to throw up. My personality is not going to do that, so how am I going to do? So I tried it twice. It didn't work. I said, okay, maybe it's because it's nurse. I won't do that. I will do nurse practitioner. I got admission. When it's time to register, I lost my visa. I was like, it is not me. So I had to come to town with it. It's not going to happen. Can you give me my money back? And that's how I kind of drop off there. When I sat with my husband, we analyzed it out. Guess what? I make more money as a chemist than being a nurse. But because they do double, I don't need to do double. All I need is 8 hours. And some of the 8 hours, 4 hours is job preparing experiments. I'm done for the day. And I make more than they do. So I was like, okay. I don't need to be a nurse. So some of us are here, and that's kind of what she's talking about. But if we look at the money the people are making, we've missed the whole goal. I'm going to move to the now one, and it's talking about why do you think many people have negative attitude towards work?
It's hard. I'm a nanny. I get up at 4:30 in the morning to be at work by 7. I work 9 hours a day taking care of a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old. When I get home, I don't want to see anybody because it's hard. I love the kids that I take care of, but it's a lot of work. I work to pour into their lives and to pay my bills, but I think also people don't look at the benefits of work. They look at the negative, the amount of energy that's going to go into it. What am I going to have to sacrifice? What if I don't like my job? What if I'm not fulfilled? Instead of looking at what am I getting out of this? What are others getting out of this from the energy that I put into it? Am I honoring God by what I'm doing? So I think focusing on the negative is a major reason people are like, man, I don't want to go to work this morning.
Thank you.
A lot of people have a negative attitude towards work because something in you knows you're meant to do something more. I'm an African child. I'm literally African American. You cannot excuse that. My dad is the most traditional African man. I was born in America. So growing up, they instilled all these cultural things in me. The things African children don't do back home, my dad made me do it here. We go to the farm, we go skin the cow. We would burn the hair off of the cow to have, we call it kanda skin. Pomo, is that what you guys call it? Pomo. We eat it in our soup. Literally, my dad trained me like an African beast. Like, you won't even know. Like, we would.
You didn't even live in Africa.
I didn't live in Africa. We lived in Madison when white people ruled it. Like, we had land in our yard. We would till the land, and we would plant all of our leaves: jute leaf, cassava leaf, potato leaf. There's no leaf I haven't planted. Okay. So my dad instilled those things in me. He said, one day you will marry. You won't cause me to shame. No woman will come in your house. Those things were in my head, embedded in me. My dad had how many master's degrees? My father ended up being a meat cutter at Kroger. We come from a chieftaincy. If you say my last name is Sierra Leone, they know exactly what family I come from. My dad trained us how to talk politically. I say all this to say is, people don't know the sacrifices foreigners come to this country and make to take care of other people back home. That instillment in me, I can never pay anybody for it. I can never regret watching my parents work hours on top of hours. My mom went back to school in her late 50s. She moved to Texas. It was me and my grandmother, and we struggled to keep that house, but we kept it. We understand working as a unit. I will always honor my heritage and where I come from, because people of color, I don't care, Chinese, American, whatever, even white folks, y'all work in unity different, right? But you know when white people work in unity, because when you want a job at their place, they have to all agree for you to come inside, right? So culturally, we must understand how everybody works in unity. And that instilled something in me when my dad we would be watching movies and he'd be falling asleep because he just got done working a 12-hour shift. I realized for anything I want, I must labor. And I must be humble enough to start at the beginning to make it at the top. So that attitude towards work, whether I like the job or not, whether it's negative or not, I know I got to go there to get to the end of the finish, the line. So that's it. Sorry.
Thank you. There's a lot I was saying. There's I see your topic too, and that's what I'll say. She's packaged a lot of stuff in there for parents on how to teach kids on how to work, for persistency, for people that feel when they wake up in the morning, the breaking, this job. But you want good things of life. So basically, she's saying that her parent taught her to do that. I'm true. I know she's a very hardworking lady. Also, she will work. She will come back. She will do this. She will do that. But the important thing there is she has a career. They taught her to have a career. That tells us there's a difference between a job and work. People that kind of complain and feel job as negative are people without career because they are hustlers. You just jump from one job to the other, jump from one job to the other. You did not pay the price at the beginning to lay the foundation of your life. If we pay that price ahead of time, it makes job enjoyable. You do it the regular way, the social way is set up to do. God made us human being, not human doing. But what we put ourselves into is human doing. That's kind of all the package that she has put it in there right there. So if you're listening, I want you to go back and listen to the tape so you can understand every segment. She said, my dad had 3 degrees. He's an immigrant. Majority of us here are immigrants. It doesn't mean we cannot succeed. We can. But there is planning in working, so it's not negative. I pray the Lord will help us in Jesus' name. I wish we have time to keep digging and digging, but we don't. So I'm just going to go straight to the next question, and I'm going to start that with Sister Tracy. In what ways have your family's attitude towards work affected or influenced you?
Okay. I just want to, just for a brief minute, talk about Kenny's response.
Brief minute.
Some people are optimists. Some people are just naturally positive people. Some people are pessimists. They're just kind of grouchy. So when it comes to why people take a negative view on work or careers or profession, they may take that view on everything, depending on their essence. But to get to your questions, and my father was born in 1927, and we tilled the land and planted and harvest and blessed the neighborhood in the city as well. So I have very similar story to that. So that was wonderful. My family's attitude toward work, I came from, again, my parents were born in the 20s, a very hardworking Southern people who also believed in generating multiple streams of income. They not only worked for the auto industry, which was really big at that time, they also had side businesses, food, growing and selling food. My father was a little bit of a loan shark for a while, so they just developed multiple streams of income. The roles were very well defined in my home as well, whereas the man of the house, he was the primary breadwinner, he was the primary bill payer. You're talking about in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and the mother stayed home, nurtured the children, took care of the home, and took care of the husband. So my attitude toward work is that you do what you love, you develop multiple streams of income, you will totally be blessed if you're doing it from your heart. I remember my mom saying, it doesn't matter if you are a floor sweeper, you be the best floor sweeper there is. No matter what you do, give it all you got, love it, you get paid for a day's work, and just enjoy your life. It's not just about the money. Wealth is not just about cash. Wealth is about your heart. how you love, how you take care of others, how you use that money, you know. So that's one of the things, or some of the things that my parents taught us.
And I got some children. Very good. I wish you had a lot of time. You guys have good stuff to say, and I kind of we'll work something out. So knowing what all of you know now, what will you change about your attitudes towards work? Or what will you encourage people to change about their attitude? Real quick. Sarah, you want to go for that?
What would I change about my attitude for work? I think I would want to intentionally be thankful. Because sometimes, no matter if you have the job that you want, like you went to school forever for it, and this is it, you're happy with it. There are days where you don't want to go to work. I mean, it's just reality. There are days where you're sick and you still have to get up and go in and make your money. But to consistently, when you're getting ready for the day, be thankful and give thanks to God that you have a job, because there's a lot of people that don't, that you're physically capable to do the job that you have, and that you can be a blessing towards others. And I guess I would add for others, if at all possible, do the foundational work to get the job that you really want, so that you can have a career, and that makes it easier to go in every day and do your job.
Thank you. In a nutshell, very short moment, what would you say to parents on how to educate their children, prepare them for the future in the area of their attitudes?
I would say financial literacy is key. So you need to learn how to teach your kids how to budget properly, like how to budget properly, to know the value of a dollar, to be able to live below their means so that they can save up to do what they need to do. Like to be able to tithe, because that's not a foreign concept to me, because my parents would always give, even if it's not like monetary value, like they give in services. My mom loves to cook for free. Get her up. No, I'm just kidding. But like being able to let them understand that not only is hard work something that's admirable, even if it's at a low place, you know, while they're working there, they need to understand that one, they have to be thankful, like she said, they have to be able to budget properly, because that is a situation, especially nowadays. Like kids are like, oh, I got this $1,000 phone that I just broke. It's fine, my parents will pay for it. Like that should not be a thing. And don't pay for it and then like be mad at them because they broke, because they don't have that value instilled in them. Not that you're, you know, not saying that you're bad parents or anything, but it's like, it's something that people just automatically forget about, and they just assume that the school's going to teach you. They won't, I promise you, because I had to learn how to budget them.
Thank you.
Very late in life.
Thank you. Thank you. Very good point. So, what practical steps do you think can be taken to change the negative attitude towards work among our youth and our young adults?
Oh,
Practical step in a nutshell.
the children, I like that question much better. The young people are in a very complicated atmosphere, very charged with technology, very charged with competition, and to be honest, a lot of oppression in certain cultures in the marketplace. And depending on what your geographic is, what your educational background is, what I would recommend to the young people now is to quiet themselves, learn to be still.
Drop the game drops.
Yes, learn to be still, slow down their processing engine. And you're talking about young people, it's not always easy to get them to come together and sit around the dinner table or get them to pray. So you really want to start young, praying over your children, watching how they're bent, watching how they're good at. My daughter Carmen, when she was very young, she always liked flesh. Like I would be cooking, she was like, ooh, she would play with the chicken and the different food. Well, she is a medical doctor. That was her bent from a very young age. So when you watch your children, pray over them, cover them, speak life into them, no matter how challenging they are, especially with the teenagers and the young people, speak life over them. Be very encouraging, because they're not in an easy atmosphere. So for the young people, try to get them to put down the technology, slow down, speak life over them. And I know they're a tough audience in this atmosphere, and it's not all their fault.
Thank you, sister. Let me bring us back because I'm looking at the time. Sorry, I'm not trying to rush you guys. But I know after all, people want to go home. And we don't want to entertain ourselves. We've said a lot.
They said they want to stay.
Permission to go on.
We've said a lot about money, but one thing about work. One thing that I don't want us to forget is we're doing this in the context of family, and also how that translates into our lives, our attitude towards money and towards work in general. That's the part that we've established so far. The family we came from, Sister Leah was letting us understand that. Each and every one also let us know the family aspect. Just the way God did it with Adam by putting him in the garden, their parents also did the same with them, engraved in their mind the importance of work. Not to be lazy, but to be thankful for even having that job. A lot of people go out every single day, but they can't even get the job that they're looking for. And if we're going to be who God wants us to be, if we're going to live fully as a Christian, as husbands, as wives, as young adults, if we're going to grow into the image and the similitude of God, this is one aspect that is kind of messing us up and we need to fix. This is why we're talking about it. If you have questions after this and you don't know how to do it, for the young adult here or those who are watching us, I want you to talk to these people here or anybody that you know that can help you. If you don't have anybody around, I want you to try and get somebody that you can relate with that will teach you the importance of work and your attitude. One aspect they didn't talk about is if your attitude towards work is negative, they're going to fire you. You're not going to have a stable job, which means you're not going to have a stable income. The other part is your attitude, your hygiene, the way you dress to work. These days, the young adults, when my sister was talking about that, they believe that it's me, it's my choice. I can do what I want to do. And somebody asked me the question and said, I am not going to hire you. It's just simple. You're going to do what you want to do. I can do what I can do as well. If I see somebody well dressed and you are well dressed, sometimes you may be more qualified than that person, but you're not going to bring me business. Because when people see you unhappy, what will happen? They're not going to come back. So I'm not going to do the same thing. I won't hire you. Attitude, whether we're working, whether we like it or not. We would all talk about your attitude is okay. Sometimes it's okay to have negative attitude or see work as a cause, as negativity. That question kind of is wide. Because if you see that as a negative, you don't want to go to work. You're going to be late every day. That's another negative. You're going to be late because you're not thankful for having that job in the first place. When you get to the job, they give you a task. What are you going to do? You're going to roll your eyes at your boss, and then you're going to talk back. And what will they do? Fire you. They just tell you don't come back. You stand there, you cuss your supervisor out, thinking they don't know what they're doing, but you know everything. What will they do? Thank you very much for your service. We don't need your service anymore. That's what they're going to say. Then this translates into money. And that's what we're going to look at real quick. That how can all this bring itself into money? So, how do I put this? Because I want to really cut it short. What was the discussion? We've talked about how work is in your family. What's the discussion about money like when you were growing up, in a nutshell?
You go. It was, we needed, I'm going to work, go sit down. I'm tired, I need to go to sleep. That's a tough question. It was, good example, sorry, thank you, Holy Ghost. Back then we had checks. And my mom was laughing because she knows this is gonna be about her. We would go to the grocery store, and we were so crafty as human beings back then when we were checks, because we knew that you had 3 days before that check processed and you got paid on Friday. So you went grocery shopping on Wednesday because you know you needed food and the check wouldn't process till Friday. So you write the check and you put the date down, but you knew it wouldn't go through yet. And that's how I learned about credit. That was my lesson in credit, that if I really need this, I can budget myself and pay this thing off in 30 days without paying interest. Literally. My mom has no idea she taught me about credit by me watching her write a check, a promissory note that this would go through and the money would be there in 3 days.
Has it backfired in the past?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, I had to rebuild like 20 times, but the Lord is faithful. Amen.
Thank you.
Okay.
For being practical.
My parents did not believe in credit. Everything that you have, you pay for. Even automobiles. My parents were anti-credit. If you can't buy it, you don't need it. If you want it, you save your money and you purchase it outright. That was one of the things my parents, and to this day, my siblings and I, well, give or take, but credit is not something we run toward. You know, you have to have a mortgage and things like that. But the basic attitude in our home toward money was very positive. My father always instilled a very open mind about money. He would bring money home and he would spread it out. He would teach us how to count it. He would tell us, you know, this is paper and this paper has value. So it was a very positive, open thing. We played with money, actually. We would throw it up in the air. That was a lot of fun. We would toss it up, stack it and things. So our attitude was kind of light in area. It wasn't very serious and it didn't have a harsh overtone.
Thank you. So, and if you notice, she's typical African, she's typical. When you come from Africa, your dollar is going to Nigeria, so you don't toss it in the head. So we have it's something you can't do the dollar. I mean, even if you want to do your hair, you'll be like, that's $50. How much is that in Nigeria? That's what's going through your head, first of all, so you don't have that benefit. But what are we saying? Just taking of those two experiences over there. Yeah, is it bad? Is it good to use credit? Is it bad? Is it good in the congregation to use credit?
Depends on what you're using.
Thank you.
It really depends.
African teach you like how when you're back home, you know, they're not even going to give it to you in the first place. So you have to spend your money. You build a house from the scratch, it's your money. But as technology and Western culture comes around, we know the value of credit. So it's not good, it's not bad in a way. It's how you plan. And again, it goes to work. If your job and the quantity and the value of what you're bringing in is not up to what you're reaching to, what are we going to have? Chaos, because you're going to have problems. This case says something about credit. I do understand one thing in this city because I've used credit and I thank God for them. If you have a job and you know when your check comes in every week, you can afford to pay $20, only $20. That's the credit you can get, not $25 credit, because that's going to mess you up. That's what's messing everybody up. The reason they put the system in place to use credit is so you can get things done. They understand there's going to be emergencies. They don't want you to go borrow the money or send your own money, right, to brothers and sisters in Africa. And then what? You don't have anything to eat here, so you are going to pay the loan to make ends meet. That would be on why that is not the foundation of creation when God made the world. I pray God will help us in Jesus' name. So just to clarify that, I'm going to go to the next one. And Miss Sarah, you got in mind. What made financial decision in your family when you were growing up, and why? Who made the financial decisions?
My dad, and he shouldn't have. My dad did not work. My mom worked. My dad put us in a lot of debt because he did not have any self-control when it came to spending, and he maxed out several credit cards. After he died when I was 16, it took my mom a decade to pay off the amount of debt that he accrued. So growing up, my dad made the decisions because my mother and father came from rather traditional backgrounds. So even though my mom made the money, my dad was the one who got to decide how it was spent.
Did you think your mom knowing what you know now, do you think your mom made the wise decision?
Oh, no. there were times where I begged her not to let him make the decisions because we were going to lose our house. But after he passed away and my mom started making the decisions when it came to our finances, things really turned around. It was hard. We had a lot of lean years, but we didn't lose our house. We always had food on the table. We always had clothes on our back. They may not have been the nicest clothes, but they were clothing. And she taught us how to pay off debt. She taught us how to work hard. She taught us how to invest in our future. And my mother, before she passed away, was able to actually leave an inheritance for my brother and I. So she didn't just get us out of debt, she gave us something to work with.
Thank you. And that's a message for us parents that are out there. Yeah, I don't know what it is your situation is, but you hear that. I want you to translate that and use that for your own personal stuff, wherever it is. And I don't know the younger ones that are here, and you're having that challenges with your parent in terms of finances. That's another example you can use there to begin to lay a foundation or a legacy for yourself on what's going to happen. A lot of you are dating and your boyfriend is taking all your money already. That's the message for you right there. At the same time, we do not buy love. It's not wise. That's not God's plan for our lives.
With prayer. I don't think she's just gonna go, I'm sorry.
I don't disagree with Sarah when she said mom worked and mom gave the money to the dad. That's the traditional view of respect in a home. But if the man is wise, if the man cares about the family. Okay, which means the Bible says a man that cannot provide for his house is what? Huh? It's worse. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It's worse than an infidel. If you are a man, you cannot provide for your household, but you take from the household. The Bible says that person is worse than an infidel. It's not worthy to be a man. That's what the Bible says. So that's the aspect of it that I agree that if a woman and a man are working together, they talk with each other, they look at what's priority in their lives, and they are along the same line. I do not mind giving my checkbook to my husband because I trust him that he gets my back. I trust him that he's working in my own interest. So I don't mind to give him my last penny. It's not supposed to be separated. If you're loving somebody and you're a partner, it's together. If you love money than the other, then there's a problem. Look how we're talking about family, relationship, work, and money. Do you see how everything kind of tying up together? So when we're looking at why is our life in shambles, why are we not living to the capacity where God wants us to live? It's because of these little things and this attitude that we carry that is causing this problem. I pray God will help us in Jesus' name. You guys have touched on this. I know she's passing that line so fast. Did your parents discuss money management with you when you were growing up? And what difference did it make if they did or did not? Rico?
No. Simply no.
What difference did that make?
It made a lot of difference because at the end of the day, I struggled trying to figure out how to properly budget, aside from being like, oh, I just don't have enough money. If you are, real quick, if you're making like $1,000 a month or something, you know that your rent is $500. Like, make sure that that is taken care of. The things that your necessities are taken care of, and then like budget it. Always live below your means is what they said. But it took me a while to figure that and not be like triggered or anxious when it comes to making financial choices.
Same question.
Short, yeah.
They talked about it, but they didn't model it well. And I think those need to go together. So when we were younger, we were taught how to write checks. We were taught how to come up with a budget, but never made to walk that out. And so I think that there's a difference between, talking about it and teaching it. And I think both need to be there.
Thank you. So knowing what you guys know now, Ms. Kate said a lot about that. What would you have wished your parents told you about money? Ms. Kate? What would you wish they had told you about money? Based on the experiences and stuff that you've been through. Just thinking.
Can I answer this a different way? I wish my parents knew money doesn't buy love.
Okay.
Our phones, we call it flash. They'll flash you on the phone. You know, foreigners know what I'm talking about. They flash you like 20 times. Flash, 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 you know. They never call you any time during the month except when, you know, they know you got your check at the first of the month or the 15th and they want money. And we always send money home thinking we're helping them. But everybody on earth is African. We started the entire world. Why can't we learn what we have and grow from it? Why can't we make our own businesses? Why aren't we fueling every economy? Because literally we are. They go, they colonize the land or they assimilate the land. They take the product and then they sell it and overprice it everywhere else. I wish people understood that there's wealth inside you and we don't always have to send money back home. If you tell me you want to start a business, I'll send you money. But if you tell me you want money just because you need to pay your rent, I'll say you're a lowlife and I have no money for you. That's my philosophy. The same Africans that came to this country and taught me how to be in America are the same Africans that were raised back home, that who we are meant to be, so we can pass on to our next lineage, to our next generations. And we need to remember that we're not helping people by always sending them money back home.
Parents, young adults, everyone, you're hearing that. And you guys that are Africa, not because we don't want to send money to you guys, but because people here work hard as well. And because we're not doing credit card, we work, we go to work, we get paid at the end of the month. So if you're asking for that money and it hasn't come, it's because we're not paid yet. We want to help them. So they are not saying we shouldn't give you money, but they want you to understand that you also should do something that will add value to your life instead of depending on other people. So you can also raise your own children and your own children can raise their children the way God wants it to be. We can all live a life full of grace and live fully the way God designed it. So we're not being stingy. We just want you to learn that lesson.
Amen.
My sister, in what ways has money, and this will be our last question, in what ways has money affected your relationship with other people and your life as a whole?
That's an excellent question. Financial literacy and financial intelligence is something that our culture needs to cultivate. We don't understand the value of money, of unifying our money, having our money work for us, with us as a community. That's something we really need to work on. Even though my parents had a very lighthearted way, in the 60s, money was milk and honey. It was more of it than it is now in our economy. But just learning how financial intelligence, start them young. When it comes to, now I was kind of stuck on that previous question, but how money has impact my relationships, both negative and positive. There was a time when I was generating and handling a lot of money. When you have a lot of money, you have a lot of friends. When there's a lot of cash flow, you got people coming from all around, and money just magnifies who you are. You know, if you are a generous person with money, you're going to be even more generous. If you are a person who holds things close to the vest, you can have a gazillion trillion dollars and you can rock the first thing you're going to say is, I don't have no money. You know, so it magnifies who you are. With me, I happen to be generous. And so my relationship with money and people became very unusual. I had to have a paradigm about it. My whole mindset had to change about money, my relationship. Because I developed a reputation for being generous, I would have people coming to my place of business, my operation, knocking on the door, telling me they were getting put out of their house and their children would be on the streets. I was taking care of babies. I've always had a humanitarian heart to start with. So my relationship with money I now understand, it's to be shared, it's to grow, it's to save, and it's definitely to build the kingdom of God. One thing that Pastor Otuno said in his teaching about good stewardship is that if we don't, this is how I interpret it, Pastor, if we don't have financial intelligence, we can acquire money, but you and money will soon depart. So financial intelligence is key. Understanding the purpose of money, understand how to grow and build money. My relationships were ebb and flow. When you have money, you got a lot of friends and a lot of people. I now, with my paradigm, know you do not lend money to everybody. You do not give money to people just because they ask you for it, because it can have a backlash. It could change on you. And that same person that you gave the money to, that you were so generous with, they will come back and resent you for it. So we definitely have to develop a sound relationship with money, and most of all, teach our children and the next generation financial intelligence.
Thank you very much. Here's the next question, because now I know people say we can keep going, but after a while they don't want you to keep going. So
Just tell us when to be quiet.
Huh?
Tell them to tell us when to be quiet.
So we are running up now anyway. It's all very good point that you made over there. Very good point. And I kind of lost my train of thought, so that's good. Let me ask this question. How can money issue create problem in your relationship? Very quick.
Ooh, fighting. You have two different point of views on how to use the tool that is money. And money creates a sense of safety, even if it's a false one. It's what keeps your home. It's what keeps your food. It's what keeps your clothing. And so if you have two people who one wants to save and invest and one wants to spend, or one is generous and wants to give and the other says, our family comes first, it creates a lot of fighting. And yeah.
How can they solve that problem?
How can they solve that problem?
You want to answer?
Well, how can that problem that money creates in the relationship be solved?
It goes back to what we were talking about before, communication and education. When you know better, you do better. If people don't know better, they can't do better. So if I can depict to you, we don't have food to eat today, and you're hungry, you're going to save the dollar next time, because I'm going to tell you when I have a dollar, you can't eat because you didn't keep your dollar. Practical, like just knowing that we need the essentials versus the non-essentials. I don't need this shirt. You don't need it. We need food. We have children. Once you understand, or you guys can come to common ground about what is more important, you guys will now work as a team. You'll be able to save money and get towards the common goal. But people must be, it says the two can't walk together unless they agree. You have to agree in a relationship and walk together in order to keep money and grow money.
Very good point.
And if I could just add something.
Very, very good point. Maybe you're watching online. I don't know where you are. Or maybe you're married, or some of us that are here, or some of us that are not here. But that's a very good point that you brought up. I'll let you see what you want to say.
We all have different strengths and weaknesses when it comes to money. And if you have the ability to manage the money better, let the money manager manage the money. And let the one who is not as skilled in managing the money, be a recipient of the hierarchy when it comes to the money. Everybody does not have the ability to manage money. So let the husband, the wife, the family, the person who can manage it and manage it well. And even if that is the woman, which I grew up in very defined roles, but if the woman is a better money manager, let her manage the money. You'll get an allowance, but let the person who has the skill do that, manage it.
I'm totally breaking protocol, but there's no point of me sitting up here today if I don't make this clear distinction about money and how you produce it. Money is not going to a certified college, getting a degree in a certain profession and becoming who they told you to become. Your wealth lies in the gifts of your hands. The Bible says your gifts will make room for you. People have a misconception about education. Education is not going and sitting underneath a certain teacher in a certain college, learning from a certain professor. It's about getting educated in what you were called to do so you can become the best you. I make more money as a hairdresser than my business degree. And I went to school first for pre-med because my family wanted me to become a doctor. Now, if you actually look at it, more cosmetologists make more money as a cosmetologist plaiting somebody's hair versus paying your high premium insurance rates for your doctorate degree and paying the doctor to practice that, paying the hospital to practice that medicine in. Don't get me wrong, we need doctors, but you need to know what you were meant to do so you can make your money. Don't let anybody lie to you.
Last comment.
Just to kind of piggyback on, there was actually a verse, I think it was Matthew 6:21, and it was just like, where your treasure is, your heart will follow. And I like to like do the reverse, is wherever your heart is, the treasure will follow. So if you are, as you said, a cosmetologist, or you like to cook, because I love to cook, whatever your passion is, find a way to make it a value so that people will pay you to do it. Like there's that quote was like, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life, which kind of piggybacks back on the purpose and you never wanting to quit your job or whatever that purpose is, because at the end of the day, it doesn't feel like work. So if you go and channel what you know, your talents, we were talking about scripture wise, your talents that God has given you, then it will come back tenfold, and you won't have to worry about money. So
Very good point. Very good point. She kind of started helping me to tie it together, and she does too. And I know we're conscious of time, so it's really interesting for everything. Thank you so much for being vulnerable and teaching all the people based on your life experiences. I know we have age differences. Journey of life has been different for all of you sitting here, including myself. But we thank you for grace where we are. Most of what is said on this panel right now is not to say, especially what Kay was talking about later, that you cannot go to school. Don't use that as an excuse and say, she already said we don't need to go to college. Everybody is different. If that's where you need to learn to get a career, is what is important. Work, anybody can work, but not anybody has a career. Those are the people that see job as hard. If you have to go lie under the caterpillar and you're not an engineer use pen and make a lot of money more than somebody lying under the caterpillar, and you're not a mechanic, but you have to be the first person to go see what's wrong in there. Of course, your job is going to be harder than the guy that just sit down and draw paper and pen. That's what college does. But everything is a choice. So the kind of life you want to live, based on what she's talking about, and the gift that God has deposited in your life already. It's because of time I was going to do one of the explain psychology part of it to us in terms of personality and temperament and the kind of job that we do. If you're not cut out for it, why going into it? And not everybody needs to go to school. Your kid is going to school and is failing, and you're not figuring out maybe they can't read. Maybe that's not who they are. And they finish high school. Let them go into work or art work or something to have a career. If they have a career, they will never lack in their life. That's how family can also impact the life of people. I want us to really, really take note of that. Our lives already has been impacted by our family. Africa, you want to go to school, you don't know anybody. I wanted to be a pharmacist. My father died when I was younger, so bye to that dream because I don't know anybody. So that means nobody can bribe the school for me to get an admission. So that's how it goes in Africa. You don't know anybody, you can forget college. Unless you know people you can bribe your way through. Even if you have a good result, it doesn't work like that. So we all have our own different stories here and there. But the bottom line, again, why Pastor is putting this together is so we can grow in who we are. It's okay to stop complaining about why job is hard, about why we can do why is this or why am I going to why? When we're not changing our attitudes towards life regarding work and regarding money. I know money is never enough for anybody, even for the rich people. It's never enough. But we always have tendency to curse the rich people out who are paying the price for being where they are. No, nobody wants to pay 38 or 40% or whatever tax bracket just because they have more money. Why somebody can use insurance, right? And just get the breast augmentation out of your own taxes that you're paying. Nobody wants that. But it's happening. That's the society we find ourselves. So you place yourself in a way to say, this is the way I want to live my life. Yes, my parents have raised me this way. Yes, people in my life and life experiences has put me this way, but this is who I want to be. That's the way the separation comes in. She said something, he said, my mom or my family didn't know. They taught me on how to do credit wisely. She taught herself that. And she didn't just, she was practical. I said, "Well, did that work out well?" She said, no, I fell many times, right? But she kept putting herself back up until she get into the place of knowledge that, wait a minute, this is not a good way. So don't hide under the pretense of meet my family. Family has their own issue, we have our own issue. We've established in scriptures, God himself, the creator of the universe, was dedicated, he worked. Another reason that work is hard is because we don't plan it. We don't plan. We want to have this time, we want to have this time, we sleep and then we wake up, 30 minutes past when we're supposed to go, 1 hour past, and then we go to work in the morning. That is the supervisor. That is the job. We are not looking at ourselves. Let us be accountable. Like the parable of the talent. We have to be accountable. Why did Jesus take that one talent from that guy and give it to the one that has 3? Because he has more capability and skill maybe to make do with that money. He's able to multiply it more. So how will we round up and say this? The Bible says that Christ came to give us life abundantly. In order to live that abundant life, we also have to do our part. And our part is to stay where God has put us, based on what everybody has said here today. I'm praying that as we grow, if you have questions, bring your question on next week as we wrap this up before we know that there's something else that God will have us to. If there's no question, I want us to bow our heads and pray. I want you to begin to just thank God for the opportunity you have this afternoon to hear this good word that can transform your life. I don't know where you are in your journey, but if you're the one in your journey that